Alright, so I'll be showing the endings for Replica. There are 12 of them labeled ending 0 to 11. However, I'll be missing 2 of them, or I won't be showing 2 of them. I'll be doing the endings in order, so I'll let you know which endings I'm missing when I come to them and why I'm missing them. This first one we're doing right here, obviously, is ending 0. Basically, it's the one where you just fail to do what they tell you to do. There's plenty of different ways you can do it. There's plenty of different ways you can fail. This is about the easiest one. All you have to do is ignore the call when they're calling you, and then it'll shoot you over to the ending. Except I think for a few of them, I won't be showing the whole way to get the endings. I don't really want to spoil anything. I definitely think it's one of those games that you have to play for yourself. Now, granted, I know there's a few walkthroughs you can look up of how to get the endings and achievements. That I'd suggest looking at if you are getting stuck. There's actually one on the store page by the user, I think 3.14. He made an actual endings guide as well that shows all the endings that you can get. So I definitely recommend checking that out, and I'll put a link to it on the video so you can take a look at that. This is ending 0. Like I said, it's basically when you fail doing the work that they tell you to. So it's probably one of the easier ones to get, or at least one of the less time consuming. So alright, and this will be the second one we're trying to get. For this one, if you get far enough into gathering the evidence, if you will, you'll get a call from the user's mom, and if you talk to her, if you answer it, that's what will trigger the second ending. You're technically not supposed to. While you're playing the game, the Homeland Security agent you're talking to, or I guess you're keeping in contact with, will let you know that they don't want any outgoing or incoming calls logged on the phone, so you're only supposed to answer calls from Homeland Security. You're not supposed to make any calls, and you're not supposed to receive any calls from anything else. And this is what happens when you, like I said, answer the call from the mom, and right now you're getting scolded for it, I guess, is the best way to put it. And it'll trigger the second ending. And then we'll be going on to the third ending. This one's a little bit easier to get. You'll come across a text message, basically, that'll have, that'll be a message of like coordinates that you were sent. And this is what happens when you actually call back the number that sent you the coordinates. This one's actually kind of, I don't want to say not hard to miss, because while you're playing the game, you're actually getting like a list of objectives that you have to, about stuff you need to find out for. I cannot talk. And you actually have to find out the source of the number. So you might not think of calling the number first, or at least I didn't. I could be just fucking stupid. Because I think it took me like the second playthrough to realize that I should actually try calling the number. Because I was thinking like maybe you put the coordinates in like a map or something, it'll show you, but you're actually supposed to call it, and it will trigger this third ending that we're about to see. So this next ending was actually a little bit trickier for me to find out. Granted, I'm not the best puzzle solver, so a lot of people could have gotten it right away. But as you can see while you're checking out the user's Facebook profile, you'll see a post about a news article, and at the bottom of it, there's actually a phone number for that reporter. And this is actually kind of like a two-part ending. Well, there's actually two different endings that have to kind of do with this process. The first one is if you just call them straight on, like you don't do anything else, you just find the number and then you call them, and it'll kind of trigger the ending we're about to see. Alright, now this one's ending number 5. This is the most, this is probably the first ending a lot of people will get. Basically, it's the ending you get for just doing what they tell you to do. When you find all the evidence, you find basically all the information they want you to find, you'll get this normal ending. Now, again, in a way, it's kind of like a two-parter ending. Like, you'll need to do this process again to find one of the later endings. Like I said, I'll get to that when we get to that ending. But like I said, this is about the most normal ending, so it'll probably be the most kind of way easiest ending, since all you really do is just gotta beat the game, and this is the ending you'll get. Like I said, unless you know kind of ahead of time what you're looking for, this will most likely be the first ending you'll get. I do want to add, I guess I'll give a little bit spoilers, is that there'll be a list of stuff they want you to find, but then there'll be kind of one, I don't want to say cryptic one, but one that doesn't tell you out of the way. Or right away, I guess I should say. There's a hidden photo album that they want you to crack into, and then they want you to find out about a meeting. And then once you get all 3 of those done, this will be the ending it'll show you. It won't show it unless you get all 3 of them anyway. Like, the game won't progress, so you shouldn't really miss it at all. Now, I know in this dialogue here, if you're reading it, they're talking about a hidden partition. Since I've played this probably 15 times through already, I don't think the first time you'll get the ending they'll talk about that partition. If I'm not mistaken, I don't remember them talking about it the first time I played it through, but it does come into play later with the other endings, so as of right now, you don't really need to worry about it. Now this is the sixth ending, or ending 5. You're going to count from ending 0, and it's going to be a lot, or it's going to be the same almost as the fourth ending, where you called the reporter. Except this time, if you saw, I actually made sure in the phone settings, I made sure location services were on, because if you were paying attention to the first time, they were talking about, or the Tom, who we are, was begging the reporter to track the phone's location to kind of send help. That first ending that we did, where we had to call the reporter, was actually off, and that's why we didn't get any help, because they weren't able to track the phone. But if you actually turn on location services and call them again, they'll be able to track you, and then you'll get this next ending we're about to see. Alright, so this next ending is another two-parter, but one of the parts I do not have. The first one, and this one's probably one of the more trickier ones. This one took a little bit of digging, but if you enter in the Bluetooth password for Tom's phone, the character that we play, you'll get a message here with Shinji or Dicky, depending on which order you get it, and he will tell you, as you'll read, about the what's happening, about the revolution that he wants to start. And there'll be a button that pops up, and it references Papers, Please, and it also references Don't Touch Anything. That's the achievement that unlocks when you get this button unlocked. But what you're supposed to do is, once you get the button unlocked, you're not supposed to press it until November 5th, which is actually the next day after, like in the game time. And you actually do have to wait, I think, about 2.5 hours and able to do it, because the game starts you off at 9:30. So you have to kind of walk away from your computer for about 2.5 hours, and then once it hits November 5th, you'll press the button, and then it'll show you the ending that we'll see. Obviously, pays reference to V for Vendetta. And then there's another part to it that I haven't tested, that I don't really know when I'll find time to test, but you're supposed to do the same process, but then you're actually supposed to wait to push the button on November 6th, the day after, so pretty much a day after that he wants you to push it. And that one you're actually supposed to wait a good 26.5 hours in order to do it. And I don't really want to leave my computer on for that long. I'll need to use it in the meantime. Granted, this game doesn't really take up too much, space or memory, so I could probably deal with it, but I just don't really want to leave my computer on for that long. Maybe in the future I'll post a video to see what it looks like my next day off. Maybe I'll do it, but that's how you get the next ending after this one is that you literally have to wait a whole day until the game reads November 6th to push the button. Now, granted, you can do it like right at midnight, so you don't have to wait, you know, until the morning or the afternoon after of November 6th to do it, but you're still going to have to at least wait 26 and a half hours to press the button in order to unlock that other ending, and I'm pretty curious about it, but as of right now, I don't really feel like waiting for it. Also, another note, this one took some digging because his Bluetooth password is 1015. Now, with all the other passwords that we have, you can usually find them. Granted, even the one that takes in the matrix screen, even though those were Morse code, they were hidden in Morse code. I don't know why that got me. You were still able to get it. As of right now, looking around, the user that made the guide that I'm basing these endings off of, he and a couple other people that have been trying to find it, we haven't been able to find out actually how to get the Bluetooth password legitimately. What I was thinking originally is the character's name is Tom Ripley, who's actually the same character that's based off the Talented Mr. Ripley and another set of books based around that character. I couldn't find anything relating to 1015 in those series of books or even that movie. So as of right now, I don't know of a legitimate way to get that Bluetooth password. So that's why this is probably one of the harder endings to get. Alright, so this next ending was definitely, I think, one of the trickier ones, and it was a pain in the ass, and I needed help with it. I was actually in the discussion group for Replica to try to get this one figured out. But in the first four endings, there is, I want to say, Morse code hidden the in the exchange between Tom and the Homeland Security, and it actually spells, or not spells, well, I guess spells, I don't fucking know what I'm saying right now. It gives you this numeric code that you're actually supposed to put in instead of the regular unlock pin, and if you put it in, it actually is, as you can see, it's kind of like a nod toward the Matrix. The first ending, this is actually part of three of them. The first one, the one we're about to see now, is where you pick the blue pill. Well, like in the movie, obviously, if you picked the red pill, you went further down the rabbit hole, whereas if you picked the blue pill, you kind of just went back how everything was. It was kind of cool seeing this in this game, as I'm a pretty, I don't say I'm a pretty big fan of the Matrix films. I own them. And I mean, they're fun to watch. It was just a cool nod towards the movies. There's actually a lot of stuff, kind of like sci-fi dystopia references in the game. Some of them I've caught on to. There's probably a ton that I've missed, but this is the blue pill ending. So this is the second part of like the Matrix ending. This was kind of like was a different process. You had to do the same thing as before, but once you got to the where you got to pick your pill, you actually had to close out of the game, and then you'll start it back up, as you can see now that I'm doing, and then it'll shoot you right into the ending. And this is number what is it? I think this is number 10. This is ending number 10, or ending 9 again if you're starting at 0. Alright, and then this is the last one of the Matrix endings. Obviously, this is where you have to, or not, well, this is where you pick the red pill, and then it goes on to a long, kind of like interesting conversation. It's kind of scary. I don't want to say scary, but it definitely gets kind of real. Maybe, I know some people are saying it kind of gets a little bit over the top. It seems like it's, some of the dialogue in this game can get kind of like a little bit over the top evil, if you say, but it definitely touches on like the fears, you know, that some people have about kind of like privacy invasion, people going through all your shit, especially with how much people are on their phones. You know, it's pretty much all you see. I was reading an article about how Pokemon Go, some guy was complaining about how it tracks like all of your stuff. It's like, you know, it's like a lot of other apps do that. Like Pokemon Go is not the first one, and I think a lot of us are kind of, you know, I don't know if I want to say numb. I don't even want to say naive, but you know, maybe a lot of people don't realize like how much of our stuff that actually goes out and shares. But I don't want to sound preachy. That's not that's not the reason I'm here. That's not the reason of this video. I'm just here to show the endings on it. But yeah, it's a pretty good read. I'd read the whole conversation. You know, if you can do it while I'm talking, you can just mute me. I won't be offended. But since it's a pretty long conversation, I'll explain the other ending that I don't have. So the last ending 11 or 12 or however you want to call it, I've gotten, but for some reason I can't replicate again. If you've been paying attention to kind of like the text on screen, you'll see probably the name Shinji, and that's not us. We're actually Tom Ripley. Shinji's the owner of the phone that we have and we're trying to get the information from. But it never was Shinji. When I first played it, it was actually a Dickie Greenfield. Was actually the name of the phone, or was actually the name of the person of the phone. The last ending you got was if you got the 4th or 5th ending twice. So basically, if you beat the game twice, you got the when you played it a 3rd time, you got an option to actually not assassinate, but basically execute Dickie for all of his crimes, and that was the final ending that you could get for it. So once you killed Dickie, it kind of berated you for being a monster, and you got like a medal for being like Captain All Might or something. But then once you killed him, you moved on to this next character, Shinji. And I've beaten the game normally about 4 or 5 times, and it won't trigger that next ending. So I don't know if it's one of those things where, you know, once you got it, you got it and that was it. So I don't know if like reinstalling the game would, you know, change it if it went back to Dickie. But now, unless I'm doing something wrong, I can't get that ending anymore because I already killed the first kid. And now it's just stuck on the second kid. So, like I said, I don't know. I know this list isn't complete. This game already came out yesterday, so I probably don't have all the secrets. And as I said before, I'm already missing 2 of the endings. But that's from at least what I found. I already killed the first kid, and I'm unable to get it again. So I don't really feel like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't feel like uninstalling the game and then doing it again. But I would say try it. Like I said, you have to beat the game twice, get the 4th or 5th ending twice in a row, then play it the 3rd time, and it will give you the option to execute the kid for all of his crimes. Pretty dark ending, but necessary if you want to get all of them. But those are all the endings I have. Like I said, probably once time goes on, more walkthroughs will probably be published. Better walkthroughs probably will be published. They'll probably kind of give more secrets out to the game, or how to get you know, all the endings for sure. That one ending maybe I'll try to get. You know, I don't really want to leave my computer on for that long. I tried to change the time like on my actual computer to see if I could cheat it, but it's kind of stuck on its own internal clock, so I'll have to actually do that. But I don't know, maybe I'll get it one day. I'm kind of home from work and just bullshitting around. But I hope it helped. Like I said, I do apologize for not showing how to actually get all the endings, but I didn't really want to spoil anything. But if you do want to know how to get the achievements, want to how to get the endings, I will link the guide from the Steam user. It's 3.14, excuse me, but I'll put a link down. Show him some love because he's the one who did most of the work. There was a few endings. I know mostly the Matrix ones that he had that I actually had to kind of get help with and look up. So I'll definitely give that a look. I definitely check this game out as well. I think it's like less than $3 on the Steam store right now. Getting pretty good reviews. I know if you've played the game, I think comparing it to like Papers, Please or Don't Touch Anything, that's the game that comes to mind for me. It's kind of like those kind of like puzzle games. I would definitely give this a look. It definitely doesn't have as many endings as Don't Touch Anything. Last time I played it, it had like, what, a couple dozen endings or something like that. I could be exaggerating. But either way, I definitely check this game out. You know, keep an eye on the discussion forums for the game if you're stuck anywhere. Plenty of people are nice to help. I know I'm on there as well, trying to give some tips as well for people, because not being too much of a good puzzle player myself, I know how frustrating they can be. But yeah, I'd keep an eye on that. Thanks for watching the video, and feel free to leave a comment if you had any other questions on it.